Apologize if I have a little bit of sniffles. Definitely moving through some allergies, sinus, cold, who knows what it is at any given point. Today is all about forward folds. I've been looking forward to this class all month. Forward folds are one of my favorite things. And I took a sort of master forward fold class on video with my teacher Christina Sell earlier this week. To be in this mindset always brings about such warm feelings and thoughts for me. So I hope that the way that I teach gives you a little bit of that as well. As you find a comfortable seat, sit cross-legged, maybe up on some height. Take a moment to just turn your gaze low or close the eyes. Let your attention go to your breath. And I'd like to open our practice with this short reading from Swami Vivekananda. If the word God triggers you, just exchange it in your mind for your word, okay? It says, when I asked God for strength, he gave me difficult situations to face. When I asked God for brilliance, he gave me puzzles in life to solve. When I asked God for happiness, he showed me some unhappy people. When I asked God for wealth, he showed me how to work hard. When I asked God for favors, he showed me opportunities to work hard. When I asked God for peace, he showed me how to help others. God gave me nothing I wanted. He gave me everything I needed. Nothing I wanted, everything I needed. Bow the chin down to the chest here and rock the head side to side. Half moon shape. And then keep right ear over towards the right shoulder. Walk the left hand out to the side. And place your right hand on top of the left ear. Give it a little bit of a tug out to the side. Bring the hands back to the thighs, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. Walk the right hand out. Place the left hand on top of the right ear and give it a little tug out to the side. Bring both hands back to the thighs, chin down to the chest. And then lift the head and gently open the eyes. Take an upright twist to the right. Move across the center and twist to the left. And then come back across the center. Take the left arm up to the sky, reach as high as you can. Crawl the right fingertips way out to the side, way out, way out. Can you come all the way down to the forearm? One side of your butt can come off the ground, no big deal. And keep reaching. And then slowly walk it back. Lower the left hand, lift the right arm up. Reach as high as you can first, and then walk the left hand out, 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 out until you go down all the way to or towards the forearm. And again, it's okay for one side of your seat to come up. And then crawl it back. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. So it's like our first forward fold. Stillness with your breath. Okay, and then come back up. Let's reset ourselves to all fours. So if you were sitting on some height and you'd rather take that blanket now underneath the knees for more padding, do that. Otherwise, for now, props off to the side. Okay, hands under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and do cat and cow here. So much of the practice and the movement on the mat is the very same from day to day in terms of the shapes that we're trying to create. And yet, I can never do downward facing dog or any other pose exactly the same, right? There's beauty in that. It's like we keep trying and we get exactly what we need from it. Okay, let's change from cat and cow into downward facing dog. So take the hands a little more forward. Tuck the toes, lift your knees off the ground, and then lift your hips all the way up and back. A little bit of time here to open it up, work it out. Just pedal the feet, shift the head, shift the hips, whatever feels nice. Push down through your thumb and your first finger, a little more than the rest of the hand. A little more strength and tone on the inner arm bone that does. Bring your mind's eye into the tips of your shoulder blades now and squeeze them towards each other, firming the muscles along the spine. And then push the thighs back, push the heels down towards the mat. One more breath like this. And look forward, step your right foot in between the hands for low lunge. Keep stepping until we have our full stride, knee over the ankle, fingertips in line with the toes. As ever, lift the hips a little bit higher until you can fully straighten and strengthen the back leg. And then look forward of your foot. Keeping all of that, lift the right arm up to the sky, add a little twist there. And take the right hand to the inside of your foot, spin the back heel down. So we've got about heel to heel alignment. Walk the hands out in front, a little off to the side for down dog lunge. Can you transfer even just like 5% more weight back into your left foot? Keeping the weight transferred into the back leg and foot. Then open up, extend from inner thigh to inner knee to broaden the knee a little more towards the pinky toe and sit 5% lower in the right thigh. So give yourself just minor little adjustments. Notice how it feels. Feel how it feels. Walk the hands back in, lift the back heel, step it all the way back, down dog. And then let's do it on the second side. Step the left foot forward. No rush there. Find your full length. Keep your feet about hip distance apart. And back leg high enough to stay strong. Look forward, pull the chest a little forward. And then spin the the left arm up to the sky. Left arm up to the sky. Lower the left hand to the inside of your foot. Spin the back heel down. Now heel to heel alignment. Before the hands go anywhere, push weight into the back foot. Keep the outer edge of the foot on the ground. And then walk the hands out. Again, down dog lunge here. The left knee likes to fall in towards the arms. So it's our job, push a little more weight into the back foot. That anchors you to have some more room to work with in the front leg. Extend from inner thigh to inner knee, pull back from outer knee to outer hip to go lower into the thigh as you broaden the knee out towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Then walk the hands back in, lift your back heel. This time step forward, both feet to the front end of your yoga mat. Keep fingertips on the floor, like tented fingers. And then make your legs as straight as they'll go, with the fingertips down and head reaching down towards the ground. You can take the hands broader, like outer shoulder distance apart. If you have a little bit more room, even bend the elbows here. Don't worry about getting the legs straight. But do find some stretch and length in the middle of the back of the thighs. So we're looking for most of the stretch to be felt middle of the muscle. Feel it down in your calves here as well. And then take hands to your hips, point the elbows to the sky, nice and slow. Come on up to standing, no rush to stand up. That only makes us dizzy. And then inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen from hips out to the crown of the head. To get in good forward folds, we need long, lengthened back bends. Step back to plank. So we'll see a series of belly down back bends like we do in most classes for me here. Lay down onto the mat. Reach your hands back. So belly down on the mat, reach your hands back, turn the palms to the sky. Lift everything that you can up away from the ground. And then put your mind's eye in your legs and say lift thighs. Heels squeeze in towards each other. They don't have to touch, but they squeeze in. And then put mind's eye in the belly and move higher to low ribs and lift the low ribs, lift the higher ribs, lift the chest. Exhale, lower down. Push back to child's pose. Keep squishing the hips back down and heavy towards the heels. And those tented fingers that we've already done, do that here. Fingertips look forward. Look forward so that you have to pull your chest forward. You're in that back bend shape again, the lengthened spine, if you will. And crawl the fingers an inch or two further forward. And you can relax the head or the neck so that you're looking more straight down at the mat. Try to keep your upper arm bones and your ears in line with each other-ish. And crawl the hands over towards the right side. And then keep sitting your left sit bone, your left butt closer to your left heel. Pull back and down. And walk the hands across the center over to the second side. Same thing here. Try to pull the right sit bone heavier down and back towards the right heel. And then come back to the middle. Flat palms, downward dog. Lift your hips, tuck the toes. Down dog, full down dog stretch here. Taking a few breaths. Look forward in between the hands and make your way there. Step, jump, or walk. Okay, hands all the way up to the thighs. Make an L shape in the body. Press the thighs back, lengthen or straighten the legs as you extend from hips out to the head. Tone in the abdomen here, don't let it hang down. And then fold over your legs. Stand all the way up. Reach the arms to the sky. Bring palms together, center the chest. Take a little pause here. Not what do you want, but what do you need? What is offered out of this practice? We'll just keep moving so that it shows itself today. Lift the arms up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Take the hands to the shins now. So you've walked the hands a little further down. And then you be the judge. Like, is the body feeling more comfortable with hands at thighs? You go back up. Is hands good at the shins? Stay there. Or maybe fingertips to the ground and you still get all of that lift, reach and extension through the spine. One placement is not better than the other, except that it makes you feel better. Okay, step back to plank. With control, lie flat down against the mat. Same as before, separate the feet, reach the arms back behind you, take the palms to turn up to the sky. You stay and work there, or interlace the hands. From either hand position, everyone lift everything that you can up. As you lift up, work the legs first. Lift the thighs, squeeze the heels. Then work the upper body. One breath, everything together. Lower it down and press back to child's pose. We're going to put a twist in here. Take your right arm under the left arm. Try to still sit back, heels and hips towards one another in this twisted child's pose. If you're like, no, that doesn't work, you can lean more forward, weight onto your shoulder and side of the face with your butt higher in the air, and that might feel better. Extract your right arm, take it out in front, and do the same to the second side. Left arm underneath. Sit low and back if that works. If it doesn't, more forward and up in the hips. And then extract both hands out in front. Change to downward facing dog. Look forward in between the hands. Move all the way there. Step, jump, or walk. Inhale, half lift, hands to thighs, shins, or fingertips to the floor. Where do you find your best stretch and length together? Exhale, fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And palms together, center of the chest. Okay, we get to do this one more time. Lift the arms up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down against the yoga mat. This time, hands behind your head. So you can interlace the hands or just have fingertips lightly touching on the head. Okay, push the hands slightly into your head, but then double the pressure, press the head back into your hands and lift everything up that you can. Point the elbows more forward rather than out to the sides to make this more doable. Keep extending the elbows out to the side, squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in as much as possible. And lower it all the way down. Get out of that, press it back to child's pose. Change to downward facing dog. Look forward to your hands. Step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Why do we always do this extension first? We need the extension to get into the fold. Fold over your legs. We call back bends east body stretches. It's like the sunrise. So we've got to have the sunrise before we get to the west stretches, the back body stretches, the sunset. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring palms together, center of the chest. And release the arms and give everything a little bit of a shake. So it's like put in the work to get back what you want. Come stand in the center long edge of your mat. A block here would be handy. So if you're using a block, place it towards the corner of the mat and take a wide stance. Turn the right foot out. Turn the back toes a little bit in so that your back thigh faces slightly towards the front. Extend the arms out. Reach as far as you can. Triangle poses up first. Use the block, your leg, or the floor to set the bottom hand on. Top arm up to the sky. Little less instruction I'm going to try to do in these standing poses. Just, you know it. Triangle pose. Go to it, breathe it, feel it. Come on up, stay on this side, do warrior two. Bend the front knee. Take a little longer stance as needed. I usually ebb and flow into this pose for a few breaths. Stretch from inner thigh to inner knee of the front leg. And like you're wrapping strongly back, outer knee to outer hip. Gaze out over the front fingertips. Good. Where are your low ribs and belly? Strong in, pull it in. Side angle, bring elbow down to knee, top arm, palm down overhead. A lot of days I stay right here, elbow to knee, get the extension, get the length. If you'd like a little more reach, take the bottom hand down, similar to where you had it in triangle pose. Good work, yogis. Come all the way back up. Straighten the front leg. Turn your feet, change the block if you're using it, sort of reset for the second side. So back toes turn just slightly in, front toes all the way out. Reach as far as you can to the left. Bring left hand down to your shin, a block or the ground. I'm going inside edge of the leg today, top arm to the sky. Stay there. Make a straight line as much as possible from the bottom hand to the top hand. Try not to break that line. Usually it means we have to lean back a little bit more, sometimes lift up a little higher in the chest. Come all the way up. And then exhale, bend the front knee. Find your way, might be a little dynamic movement until you can sit in Warrior Two. Sit in the seat of power here, Virabhadrasana 3. Squeeze your back glute a lot. That often goes a little bit soft, but we need the back body to stay in the game with us. And then elbow down to the knee, top arm, palm down overhead. Find the pose here. And then go lower as works for you. One side might work, one side might not. Keep checking in. Does this pose feel like it's best alignment for me today? Inhale, come back up. Straighten the leg, turn the toes parallel to each other. Everyone, take your hands to your hips. Find the bony front point of the hips, anterior hip point. And as if that hip point and the bottom of your ribs, can you find the bottom of your ribs? I want to make that space between the hip point and the bottom of the ribs get wider, longer. So press the hips down and lift your head up. Hips down, head up. Keep that length and then hinge forward and drop the hands straight down. Maybe to the block, maybe to the floor. And then keep thinking of extending that space between your hip and your low rib and reach your head a little further forward. Don't change it. But bring the head closer to the ground now. And naturally, as you bring your head more to the ground, that low rib and hip point are going to get closer to one another. It's a forward fold, right? I want you to do your best to keep the length, though. Do your best. Keep the length and fold. Two things. And with the hands all the way walked back towards the line of your heels, now straighten your arms, lengthen your spine, look forward, get all of the length back. Can you rock your weight still forward towards your toes? Change the hands to the hips and come all the way upright. Heel toe the feet in. Shake it out. Okay, grab your strap and lie down onto your back. If you have a scarf, a belt, something that works mostly like a yoga strap, do that. If none of those things are handy, we use our hands. Okay, soles of the feet on the ground. Place the strap around the base of the toes. So not the middle of the foot, not the heel, but all the way up to the base of the toes. Give yourself enough slack that you can make the legs straight. Left leg goes flat along the mat. If you can, hold on to the strap in each hand and like it's going into a high V over your head. I know based on the length of your device, this may or may not work, but if you can have your arms in a high V, overhead, legs straight, arms straight, do that. And then can you hold on to both ends of the strap in your right hand and take the leg out towards the right side. At this point, I'm going to maneuver and play with the strap, almost tack it behind my back to get a little more out of it. If you're using your hands, you're just holding on outside of the right leg, somewhere along the leg with the hand. And then I'm going to maneuver back to that high V, separate the arms, bring the leg in. Lower the right leg down and give yourself a moment. If the way that I am stretching the leg doesn't quite work for you, we're all lying down. You probably can't see right now what's happening. You're doing it in a little different way. It's no big deal. It doesn't really matter. I'm just giving some guidance. Okay, left side. So strap along the base of the left foot. Stretch the legs straight. I've got one of these mega long Manduka straps from Realignment, so I've got a lot of space. I was doing this earlier in the week with a scarf, and I didn't have nearly the length to work with, so you just kind of cinch up. You work as with what you got, right? All right, right leg straight, left leg overhead. Let's see. Go back to that high V if you've got the length to work with straight legs, straight arms, and have enough pull on the strap. And then hold both ends of the strap in the left hand as you bring the leg out to the left side. I'm letting my back hold the strap if you've got lots of length. You can let your muscles do the work and not hold on to anything here. Just stretch the leg off to the side. And then bring it back overhead. Okay, and lower it down. Reach both arms overhead, feet down below. Get as high as you can, fingertips down to the toes. Pull the knees into your chest and rock yourself up to a seated position. Okay, this next one's fun. Stand up and grab your blanket. If you've got something of a rectangle or a square, roll it more into a little Tootsie Roll. This is for your heels. It's like high heels in yoga. So I'm gonna stand with my heels on the blanket and my toes on the ground. If you are not around a place where you can have the prop of a blanket, then roll up the edge of your yoga mat and place your heels on the mat and your feet on the floor. That works, but I like an even higher roll than that. Okay, feet parallel to one another, hip distance apart. Yes? Nice breath, extend that length between your hip point and lower ribs. Keep the length, and then sit as low as you can into your squat. And the lift of your heels should help you get low here. And if you're like, Betsy, my feet aren't wide enough and that's blocking my space, then take your feet a little bit wider. We're trying to go parallel. Okay, you're gonna use a hand to get in there, find that hip point and try to pull your belly, pull your ribs more up. Can I get a little bit more space? Can I get in on both sides and try to get in a little bit more space? And then with you keeping that belly pulled up, push it onto your thighs so that it kind of stays, and your hands can come to the front to help you balance here. Breathe, you're there. If this hurts your knees, lean more forward. Maybe hands have a little bit of weight down. I like to definitely lean forward to get out of the pose. Take some weight to the hands and then come all the way up. Okay, it's either the exact same thing a second time or take your feet closer together and try it again. I'm going to keep my feet just a little bit apart. Same thing, lift up, try to keep the lift, but knowing that it's going to disintegrate as you go low. And then once you're down there, you're manhandling yourself to get some of the belly, the flesh kind of up, out of the way. But as you pull it up, you push it into your thighs to keep that extra bit of lift. Heels high on that blanket. If I didn't have a blanket here, I wouldn't be able to do this. Hands can help you stay. Take a couple of breaths. And then lean forward. Take some of the pressure off of the joints as you come back up. Okay, and you can walk off. And that's basically getting this motion, right? The hip flexor deep in for the forward folds. Okay, and then we're sitting back down. We've got all these little tricks. As you sit down, let's sit flat. Sit flat on the mat. No props. But if you have your block, something that can act like a block, have that. I want you to start on the skinniest part of your block. Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, but with a block in between. Okay, and then hands behind you, lift your butt off of the ground, and then set it down a little closer to your feet and the block. Push your feet into the block, extend your knees out to the side. If you've been practicing with me for a while, you've probably done this a time or two. We're not trying to get the knees down, we are trying to extend them further out to the side. The further the knees extend out, the more likely they are to start to drop down. But it's not from pushing, it's from extension. Okay, get yourself out of that close hold. Take the block to a wider setting. If you're using a traditional yoga block, you have 3 settings. So we're going to the second setting. And again, you're going to lift your butt and get yourself a little closer in. If all you had was your yoga blankets, you could be folding that in different ways to work the same as a block. If you're using your feet together and you do it 3 times like this, that's going to give you some change as well. So we're just on different settings. And then we're going to sit back, take the block out. Either do the second setting again if you felt like, gee, that was plenty enough for me. We're doing a big abduction stretch here, from inner thigh to inner knee. You might have done enough. If you've got the third setting in you, you go to the longest, widest setting. And you can try it one more time. Muscular energy, push the feet to each other, to the yoga block, and extend the knees out. Sit up tall, don't fold over. You need the extension here. And then back off, take the block out of the way, extend your legs straight out. With the legs straight out in front, flex the feet, toes up. Take the hands right by your waist. Sit up as tall as you can. Look past your toes and reach your chin closer to your toes. Hinge at the hip, you're doing that squat fold. Take your thumbs into the crease that you find in your hip and try to tack the crease slightly back. It's the same as when we were trying to lift our belly up. Now we're tacking the hip down and back and creasing and folding a little bit over it. I've practiced before with like putting a belt right there across the highest part of the thigh and trying to always lift up and over the belt. You can imagine doing that. Okay, reach your hands. Do they reach your feet? If the hands reach the feet, hold on to the outer edges of the feet. If not, hands to the floor, fingertips. Keep looking about a foot in front of your toes. Everyone, bend your elbows out to the side and keep thinking chin forward towards the big toes here. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. All of the sunrise still happening. And then at the very last moment, it's the sunset. Fold in. Elbows can go down to the floor. The belly is still trying to crawl up the thighs like when we were in the squat. All of the length in the spine staying with us as much as possible, like the sunrise. But giving into the beauty of what we get in the sunset. Stay here, breathe here. And then back off. Come all the way back upright. Okay. Take the feet out wider than the hips. Like not a huge straddle, just a little bit wider than the hips. I've made a little bit of a mistake here. I want to sit up on some height with this. I'm going to go back to my blanket and to my strap. If you have those things, sit up on some height and have your strap handy. And where you're sitting on the blanket is like, you want the edge of that blanket, like right at almost where the base of the thigh and butt come to each other. Like if I stand up, it kind of hides that little roll, right? You see it? And then it almost like hides that little space. That's the crease at which you're sitting on the blanket. It's almost like you're falling off the front end. Okay. Pretty wide, long strap here if you can. Pull back. No round, don't do this. Up, lift. And if you could reach your feet before, you might be able to end up reaching your feet here. But as you reach forward, the hands will just get closer to the pinky fingers. Keep lifting the chin and chest. Straight arms, straight legs, best of your ability. And then bend the elbows as you come forward and over a bit more. And if you realize, oh, I could just hold my feet, you can drop the strap and hold the feet. Elbows up rather than down so that you're still getting in some power across the shoulders and chest. Fully straighten the arms, come halfway up, and then all the way back off. Fold your right foot in. If you like the height, stay on it. If you don't, come off of it. This is a twist. Take the right hand to the outside of the left leg, other hand behind you, sit up tall, and twist. Janu Shirshasana, head and knee pose. Reach the right hand towards the left foot. Fold over. Reach both hands to the left foot, elbows out to the side. Look up past your toes like we did in Paschimottanasana a little bit ago. And then fold the elbows down. Stretch the back side of the body. You're still holding some twist here, right? So you probably have a little bit more reach and stretch along the back right side of the body here. And then come back up. Legs wide. Switch over to the other side. Not worrying too much about where the foot placement is here. Let's just pull it in. We're open and we're having to do a twist in the torso to get towards the left leg. Sorry, that's your right leg. I'm mirroring, so occasionally I get a little mixed up. But I'm taking my chest. I want it to go over the center of that extended leg. Try to keep the chest over the center of the extended leg, even as you lean forward to catch hold of your foot. I don't want to give that twist up. Stay with it as you keep descending into your sunset. Elbows out to the side. And then elbows down, head down. A little more breath, stay here. Really expand. Puff the breath into the left side of the back. And then puff the breath into the right side of the back, which gives you that lift back up into the extended spine. And back off, come out of the pose. Both legs can go back out to the front. Give it a little bit of a shake. Okay, I'm gonna go off of my height for this next set. Stretch your legs out, lean back on your hands. And then place your feet like omega shape. So if we're in Baddha Konasana, we're close in together. We're going for omega. Tadasana, star pose, where your hips are further from your heels. You're making this bigger diamond shape. Okay, first stage, and I just want you to do whichever stages work for you. Separate your feet. Move back, make sure that I'm in view. Okay, so it's like that there's a block space in between the feet, first stage. Now you're gonna take your left ankle on top of the right ankle. A little bit of a cross. Good, we wanna keep the external rotation of the left leg. And then I'm gonna crawl it up until it's higher on the calf or shin. Okie dokie. Take the foot on the knee or just above the knee. The higher your foot starts to go, the more you'll start to point the foot rather than flex the foot. I know it's probably hard to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna turn a little bit to the side. I think that might be helpful. Now, my foot is basically in this figure 4 shape, but I'm keeping the other leg down. We're walking towards a lotus leg slowly. When I take this next stage, higher up on the thigh, change to a pointed foot, not a flexed foot. Okay, if all that's still happening for you, feels okay, slide your foot up into the crease of your hip. Definitely more of a pointed foot here. Now, your left knee is totally closed. If you've followed me all the way along this line, totally closed. We want to keep it that way. But is there a way to get that knee closer to the ground? I'm actually going to lean towards it until the thigh is on the ground there. That's one way to do it. Hold it there for a moment, and then rock yourself back up. Okay, here's the other way. Go towards the right leg. Place your left hand right along your inner thigh and just smooth it down. Left hand along your inner thigh and smooth it down. As you lengthen from inner thigh to inner knee, it goes all the way back to the first lunge we did, where I said lengthen from inner thigh to inner knee and wrap and pull back from outer knee to outer hip. You keep doing that and then come back up. And voila, knee a little closer. But is it painful? If it is, you've got to slowly come out of that and get yourself out of pain. And then as carefully as you came in, we get out. Okay, second side. Star pose, omega shape. Feet a little bit apart like there's the block in between. We look like we have symmetrical bodies. We do not. Don't expect the second side to do the same thing that the first side did. Give it its own due. Yes, it knows where it's going now, but pay attention to it. So you cross the right leg over. If you have a lot of things going on in knees, hips, and ankles, you're going to want to be way more conservative with this. And that's why I'm giving you these stages and not trying to just say, put your foot into your hip crease. Each of them is fully a pose. Walk it up to lower part of the knee. And then this is the biggest jump. And I'd say about half of us might end up staying here on one side or the other, where the foot is just sitting on top of the thigh right above the knee. And if you're in this stage and you know you're not going further, you could change to stamp down on that foot and give yourself a nice stretch in figure 4. It's all working the same. So then we're going to start to point the foot and take it higher up on the thigh. Right now, the knee is high off of the ground. We're not worried about that. And then finally, maybe one step more, fully pointed foot, arch of the foot sitting into the hip crease. Okay, what do I do about this knee? Maybe nothing, maybe I don't mind it at all. And this is my lotus version. 2 options. We're going to first lean towards that lotus leg and put your right thigh on the ground. Keep the knee joint fully closed. Just in that, like this left leg might squeeze in a little bit, give it a little bit more. Okay, but that's still, when I rock back, my knee is going to be about the same height off of the ground. So I'm going to try it on the other side. Push the left thigh down and then work the lotus leg. And I'm not working by putting pressure. So I use the experience of the hand, but it's really just me doing the work in the legs, like guiding inner thigh to inner knee, extend. Pull back, wrap back from outer knee to outer hip, and then come back up. Half lotus, stay with it. Big experience of breath. And we've got all this nice and slow in lotus, and you'll notice that I almost never work lotus in class. Come out of it and extend. I'm forgetting who to attribute this to, one of our, yogi masters that used to say, what is lotus worth? And it's something like, if you can't do lotus, you don't need to do lotus. If you can do lotus, you definitely don't need to do lotus. So it's like, what is this pose worth? Sometimes it's to aid us in deeper forward bends, but does it really need to be there? It puts so much pressure on our knees in particular. Like, no, if it's a big deal to you, if it brings pain, like don't at all worry about it. There's a reason you don't see me practice it much. Okay. Commentary over. Stretch your legs out. What it does do, let's give us a little bit more of a 360 view, an opening in the hips. And after that, you might think, oh, that forward fold. Easier, maybe even it feels better. Reach the arms up and fold over your legs. Hold on to your feet. Pull your elbows out to the side to keep pulling your chest forward and down onto the legs. Okay, come all the way back up. Good. Stand up one more time for our practice. Mostly sitting today, but let's stand up one more time. Top end of the yoga mat. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Keep your right foot forward, step the left foot back. Bring both hands to the inside, heel toe your right foot out to the side. Come down to your hands, bend at the elbows. Go down to your forearms. Forearms can be to the floor or on a block. Lower your back knee to the ground, top of your foot to the ground. Push your left knee down, pull it forward. Push the right pinky toe down and pull it back. Keep the pinky toe on the floor, but like bound angle leg, pull your big toe of the front foot, I'm talking right foot here, big toe of the right foot comes off of the mat, right knee goes a little more out to the side. Keep pushing your pinky toe down and pull it back. Back knee down and pull it forward. Rise back up to your hands. Sole of the right foot on the ground. Pull your left heel in towards your seat. Quad stretch. Work there or walk your left hand further off to the side. Look over your right shoulder. Grab hold of your back foot and pull the heel closer in. Release. Kick your hips back until you get a hamstring stretch. Flex the right foot, pull the toes in towards you. Listen up, my friends. Stay and work here most conservatively. More challenge, pick up your right heel and try to extend it further out in front, moving towards splits. You're here. Pick up your right heel again, hip flexor strong, extend it out again, lower it down. What if you tuck your back toes and move your back knee a little further back? Here, work towards Hanumanasana, whether it's in that half split or full. And then slowly bring yourself back out. Drag the front heel in, around to all fours. Downward facing dog. Okay, lower the knees, step the left foot forward, hands to the inside. Pop the back knee up to start. So good old low lunge, hands on the inside of your foot. Ready? We take our layers, and it's just that, it's layers. You add one thing on to the next. Down to the hands, bend the elbows. Okay, that layer's good. Forearms to the ground. Maybe it's like phase 2.5 with the arms underneath a block instead of all the way down to the ground. And then today, lower the back knee, untuck the toes. Get the back leg a little more engaged first. Press the knee down, and as if energy is taking it forward. And then your left pinky toe, push it down, and as if it's trying to drive back. Keep doing that with the pinky toe, but peel your big toe off of the mat so your knee goes a little more out to the side. Like the big thing that you see is the knee moving further away from the center line of the body. But it should be indeed the whole leg from foot to hip, sort of opening up at the same rate. And still think pinky toe down and back knee down and forward. Slowly come back towards center line. Back up to the hands and pull the back heel in for the quad stretch. And maybe that's enough, right? You could stop there. Other option, take the right hand more out to the side so that you can lean some weight to the right and look over the left shoulder. Hold on to the foot if it's there for you. So opposite hand to foot. Okay, it's that slow release. Kick the hips back, hamstring stretch. This is your half or Ardha Hanumanasana. Totally good to stay and work here. I've like snuck in this Hanumanasana on you guys. All the work that we've done certainly prepares for this. So maybe you just want to see what happens. Again, crawl that left heel more forward and out. It's like I'm trying to jump over a lily pad or something. Up and over. Which is not a reference that anybody would ever do. I don't know why we say these things. Tuck the back toes. And then maybe it's the back knee that moves back. Extend forward as much as you extend back. Try to keep your torso straight up and down. And then drag it all back in, around to all fours, and downward facing dog. Child's pose. Good. Come back up, have a seat on your butt again, and extend your legs out in front. You've had a couple of goes at Paschimottanasana, our west stretch of the body. This is the last and final one. Fold over. Think again, sunrise, lengthen the spine, and then sunset. Slow, slow fold in. You always want that sunset to last just a little bit longer, right? Take your time to fold in. Come on up. Lie down onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest. "2020, not what we asked for, it's what we got. It's what we received. You're here. Hug yourself. Take the hands out to a T, soles of the feet on the floor, and then cross your right leg over the left. Maybe hook like eagle legs with your foot behind your calf. Maybe not. And then lay both knees over to the left side. If all of the wrap and cross of the legs doesn't work, fold them on top of each other instead. Stack them on top of each other. Use a little belly strength to bring it back into the center. Set the feet on the ground, unwrap. Cross the left knee over the right. Again, let the foot just kind of hang out to the side, or do your eagle wrap with the left knee on top. Take both legs over to the right side. A few breaths to let the lifted shoulder get a little heavier. Doesn't have to come down though. Okay, come back to the middle, unwrap. Maybe one more little hug in. Happy baby here is a good idea if you'd like. And then unwind. Any last little bits of movement that help you unwind? Shavasana. Lie fully back. Relax the arms and legs, relax the eyes. Slowly come back to a little attention to the body. Move the fingers, move the toes. Make that connect into the breath. And take your time to come all the way back to a seated position. Sit most comfortably for you. Gather the palms, thumbs to the sternum, to that place of the heart. This practice on the mat day after day, year after year, I realize is just a reflection of what I need. It helps me return again and again. Yoga means union. A lot of people say yoga means balance. It's not about staying in balance, but returning time and again to balance. Shows us what we need. All right, let's close today in the sound of Om. Sing along, listen, tune it out. Take a full breath in first. Empty it out. Breathe it again. And gratitude to you, to each other, and for this practice. Namaste. All right, thank you, friends.